Hello everyone, this is your favorite Murtid. Once again, we are here to see the lying of Ibn Fuban and demolish his lies. Unfortunately, this guy gives us so many lies to demolish, and seems like my channel would be called Catch the Lies of Ibn Fuban very soon instead of Adam Seeker. So let's listen to what he says first, then we will go into.
This is why the leader of the faithful, Umar bin al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, demanded his well-known conditions be met by the Christians, that we will neither erect in our areas a monastery, church, we will not imitate their clothing, caps, turbans, or ride on saddles, hang swords on the shoulders, collect weapons of any kind, or carry these weapons. Refrain from erecting crosses on the outside of our churches and demonstrating them and our books in public in Muslim fairways and markets. We will not sound the bells in our churches except discreetly, or raise our voices while reciting our holy books inside our churches in the presence of Muslims. Ibn Kathir here. Ibn Kathir explains, even though they're willing to pay the jizya, all of these conditions, they can't repair a church, they can't do any of that stuff, they can't make their voices loud.
You know it's a weak hadith, right? Miskin.
Ibn Kathir, under the bus again. Let me under the bus again.
Hold on.
So according to Ibn Fuban, the narration that is mentioned in Tafsir Ibn Kathir for chapter number 9, verse number 29 is wrong, is Daief. Let's see Ibn Kathir 9:28-29. Let's go to 29. Fahum Zakhirun, which ends here at Fahum Zakhirun, and it says disgraced, humiliated, and belittled. Wahum Zakhirun. Therefore, Muslims are not allowed to honor the people of Dhammi or elevate them above Muslims, for they are miserable, disgraced, and humiliated. Muslim recorded it from Abu Huraira, and the Prophet said, etc., etc., etc. Now, we will go into what Mr. David Wood explained, and he explained this pact of Umar, that when Umar went to Sham, what did he do? And what was the pact? So here we will see, when you come to us, we requested safety for ourselves, children, property, and followers of our religion. We made a condition on ourselves that we will neither erect in our areas of monastery, churches, or sanctuaries for monks, nor restore any place of worship that needs restoration, nor use any of them for the purpose of enmity against Muslims. All right. At the same time, we will not prevent any Muslims from resting in our churches, whether they come by day or night, and we will open the doors of our houses for worship for their wayfarers and passerby. So our houses will become like a hotel or restaurant or something. Those Muslims who comes as guests will enjoy boarding and food for 3 days. We will not allow a spy against Muslims into our churches and homes, or hide deceit or betrayal against Muslims. We will not teach our children the Quran, publicize practice of shirk, inviting anyone to shirk, or preventing any of our followers from being embraced in Islam. This is humiliation on them, because they subdued, now they can't even say Jesus is God, because according to Islam this is a shirk. If they choose to do so, we will respect Muslims, move from the place we sit in if they choose to sit in them. So if Muslim wants to sit somewhere, you have to give them his space. We will not imitate their clothing, caps, turbans, sandals, hairstyles, speech, nicknames, title names, or ride on saddle, hanging sword on the shoulder, collect weapons of any kind, carrying these weapons. We will not encrypt our stamps in Arabic or sell liquor. We will have the front of our hair skirt, wear the customary clothes. Wherever we are, wear belts around our waist, refrain from erecting crosses on the outside of our churches, demolish and demonstrating them and our books in public in Muslim wayfare. So no cross on the Bible, no cross on the church, and etc., etc. We will not sound the bells of our churches except discreetly, or raise our voices while reciting our holy book inside our churches, so that Muslim will not be able to hear it in the presence of Muslims, nor raise our voices with the prayer of our funerals, or light torches in the funeral processing in the wayfare of Muslims or their markets. We will not bury our deads next to Muslim deads, or by servants who are captured by the Muslim. We will be guide for Muslims and remain from breaching their privacy in their homes, etc., etc., etc. This is the pact of Umar that he made with the people of Sham that he captured. Now, he explicitly said this is a Daief hadith. Now let's go to our favorite uh, let's go to Ibn Qayyim. What does he says? A big giant. Okay, and this is Al-Uhdatul Umariya, means the Pact of Umar that we just read in Ibn Kathir. And according to the Nazariya fi Sahat al-Sanad, how correct is the Sanad for this pact? Now, I'm not going to read all of it, but this is by Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, the big giant of Islam. We know who he is. He describes three different matan of this ahadith from three different and chain of narrations. Three. He describes three of them. And when you have more than one chain and more than one matan, it is not an ahad hadith. And when it is not an ahad hadith, even if one chain has a liar or somebody that you do not acknowledge, you do not destroy the hadith. That's what he is saying here. Let's go to a very basic translation. And it says, Walajibul Qawlu bil Ibn al-Qayyim, that according to the statement of what Ibn Qayyim said, that the following the three narrators of Umar's covenant, right? The Ahadul Umar, the covenant of Umar, the pact of Umar, the fame of these conditions is beyond their chain of transmission, for the Imam received them with acceptance and mentioned them in their books and used them as evidence. And the pact of Umar, the conditions, the age of covenant conditions were still mentioned on their tongues and in their books, and they were implemented after by the other caliphs. So the caliphs after the Umar used this, plus the people were narrating this, plus even though that they have three different chains and the matans are so similar with just a little bit of exception, hence he said this is correct and we have to follow it. This is correct and we have to follow it. It is not daif. It is not thrown away. And what did our friend say? He said, this is daif. Now let's see what else is he stating.
And that is why when we want to study how to implement fiqh, we don't go to Ibn Kathir, right? We go to books of fiqh and we go to those scholars who specialize in the implementation, the fiqh of it. Ibn Kathir, he was not explaining fiqh here. He was explaining an ayah. It was not in the implementation. It's not a big book of fiqh. Name to me one Maliki fiqh book.
Not the point. You can tell me if I'm wrong.
He doesn't know.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
He doesn't know a single. Okay,
remember.
name me one Shafi'i fiqh book.
Just answer.
Name me one Hanafi fiqh book. Name me one Hanbali fiqh book. Name me one Zahiri fiqh book. You don't know a single fiqh book's name.
Now he wants to go into fiqh. And I understand his problem. The poor guy is trying his best to help himself. Now let's look at the fiqh, the book of fiqh. Okay, what does the book of fiqh is saying? This is the Reliance of Traveler, which is one of the biggest book of fiqh, right? One of the biggest, right? This translation is approved translation, as it is showing that it's an approved translation. Okay, you can go to this link and you will see the translation and authority of this translation. This is a Shafi'i fiqh book. It's a Shafi fiqh book. Okay, so now he wants it to see it from the fiqh. He said we take our rulings from the fiqh. This is a book of fiqh. Now check this out. Is the Reliance of Traveler a good resource? How does Shafi madhab differ from one another? The book you are referred is an English in translation of highly ranked classical fiqh book, okay, written by Sheikh Ahmad ibn Naqib. The English translation by this. Now check this out. This is section 9.14. Okay, how should we deal with the captive of war according to Caliph is taken captive. The Caliph considers the interest of the Islam and the Muslims and decides between the prisoner, death, slavery, release without paying anything or ransom anything. So Caliph can decide. If the prisoner becomes a Muslim, before the Caliph choose any of the four alternatives, then he may not be killed. And one of the other three alternatives is chosen. Means what? Prison, slavery, or release. It is permissible in jihad to cut down the enemy's trees and destroy their dwelling, their houses, and obviously the other places. This is the place of dwelling. Now, use of the force in jihad is necessary to go do outside jihad. That is why Imam Hanbal wrote that if a caliph seizes power, it is haram to fight him. However, he must meet his responsibility under Islam. This is the book that he chose, not me. He chose it. Ash-Shafi believed that a person who seizes power and then is accepted by the people is a legitimate caliph. Okay, if someone forces himself on the ummah but is qualified, then he should be accepted by the people to avoid Muslim bloodshed. What, guys? So if an ISIS guy comes up, the Muslim ummah should accept him if he qualifies according to Quran and Sunnah. That's what I said. Now we talk about jizya, that from Zahirun that we read. Ibn Abbas reference capitation text in red is a piece of punishment inflicted upon the infidels on the account of their infidelity, which whereas it is tamed jizya. So by the way, this is hadaya, another Islamic fiqh book. This is section 11.5. Non-Muslim subjects are obligated to comply with the Islamic rules that pertain to the safety and intimacy of life, reputation, and property. In addition, they are penalized for committing adultery or theft, though not for drunkenness, are distinguished from Muslims in dress wearing a white cloth belt. If you wear a white cloth belt, that's where did we read that? Oh, in the Pact of Umar. And are not greeted with Assalamu alaikum. Put them on the narrow path. Where? Pact of Umar. Must keep to the side of the street. Oh, Pact of Umar. May not build higher than or high as Muslim building, though they are acquire a tall house, it is raised. Now, where did we get that? Pact of Umar. Are forbidden to openly display wine or pork, to ring the church bell, or display crosses, recite the Torah, or inveigle aloud or make public display of their funerals and fast days. Where did we read all that? In Ibn Kathir 929. What did he say? Show me in the fiqh book. What are we showing? The fiqh book. Section 11.5. Do you want to see more? If a non-Muslim subject to Islamic State refused to conform to the rules of Islam or to pay to the non-Muslim pool tax, which is jizya, the humiliation tax, we are back in Reliance of Traveler, section 11.9, then their agreement with the state has been voided. Bye-bye, ta-ta. Now what will happen? When the subject agreement with the state has been voided, the Caliph chooses between the four alternative methods above in the connection with the prisoner of war. Go back. What? Fight, kill, enslave. By the way, this presentation is a part of presentation given to me by our brother Lloyd. Subscribe to his channel. So guys, this is the book of Hadaya. Once again, that I was talking about. I will show you how important this book is. This is volume 1. Let's go to the section where we have to go. 307. If we conquer the territory, then his real property, lands and building, are fay booty. What do we do in page number 319? If they take a slave prisoner and a man buys him from 1000 dirhams, but they take him prisoner again, moving to Darul Harab, where another man buys him for 1000 dirham, then the first master does not have the right to take him from the second buyer by paying the price, because imprisonment did not take place during the ownership. The first buyer may take him from the second on the paying the price, because imprisonment took place during the ownership. They are after the first master to take him by paying 2000 dirhams if he likes. What are we talking about, guys? We are talking about humans. Humans who are the capture of war. They are being sold, bought as carrots. Islam abolished slavery, guys. Remember, Islam abolished slavery. This is how Islam abolished slavery, guys. Now, let's go to page 339. What should we do? Rights and duties of the Dhammis. What Dhammis? It is not permitted to construct new synagogues and churches within the Darul Islam due to the words of Prophet Muhammad. So, no buildings. What did he say? Show me the book of fiqh. What are we showing? The book of fiqh. Now, let's go to page number 352. If a child is found in one of the cities of Muslims or in one of the villages and a dhammi claims it, means the person who is paying jizya, the paternity of the child is assigned to him, but the child is a Muslim. What? What? This is based upon isnad because the claim includes parenty, which is beneficial for the minor. Now, even the child custody, a lost child, if your child gets lost, basically some Muslim captures him and then you will say, oh no, this is my child. This is a Muslim child. You want to impose all of that? You want to do this fake part on me? You want to run to fake? You see how dirty, disgusting, demolishing, demonized the fake is? You want to go to fake? Hadaya. The Hadaya is a classical book of Islamic jurisprudence for the Hanafi fiqh. Hanafi fiqh. Did you say Imam Hanifa, Abu Hanifa? Fiqh. Hadaya. Showed you. Okay. So Reliance of the Traveler and the Tools of the Worshipper, by its shortened title Reliance of the Traveler, is a classical manuscript of fiqh for the Shafi school. I showed you from the Shafi school. Now you have two fake books agreeing and acknowledging that they took all of these things from the Pact of Umar, which is narrated by Ibn Kathir, and Ibn Kathir also did not say that it is Daief, and Ibn Qayyim, who is the giant of Islam, is stating the Pact of Umar is correct and reliable. Who are you to say otherwise, you lying Fuban Uthman? And today at 7 p.m. New York time, Eastern Standard Time, I am going live with my brother, who's also an ex-Muslim from Middle East, and he is going to show us and tell us even further how the Pact of Umar is still established, still running right now in today's world as we are speaking. And Ibn Fuban Usman is saying that this is wrong, it's false. God bless you guys. See you later tonight.